So today's video podcast for the Random Golf Club Radio, which I guess this is really, we've changed the title, but there's no visual representation of that changing. Thomas, Reiten, you've seen a lot of things change since we edited. Oh, I got to turn off my notifications. You've seen a lot of things change since we met and started working together. And yeah. I guess, for the people watching this, Thomas is our, primary editor. He's our Formula One editing force. What we're talking about today and what, we're releasing in the next couple of weeks, this Iceland series, that was the beginning. And now we're here reflecting back on that. Can you tell me a little bit about, well, first I want to hear about, how the Iceland blog started in your view. And then I want to get into what, not so much where we are now, but just what we've learned from where we started to where we are now. If anything, maybe we haven't. Welcome to the show, Thomas. Good to have you.
Thank you, man. Good to talk to you. I think the Iceland vlog started as just we have this trip. Here's the footage, kind of play around with it and see what you can do. I don't think it was the trip itself that you guys went on was very day to day. You had everything lined up and, these places you were going to visit, but it wasn't early vlog days. It was pre-vlog days. This was the test run of what was to come down the line as far as EAL vlogging goes. So it felt like testing the waters, but at the end of it, you got this, great little 4-episode series that tells the story of your guys' trip in a really fun way.
Yeah, it's funny because it was the best example in my life. Maybe there've been a couple others, but of when you go to a thrift store, you're not going in there looking specifically for an oatmeal colored wool sweater. You're just immersed in the experience of what might I find. I have no idea. What style will I leave with? What story will happen here? I have no idea. Yeah. So that's kind of that's kind of what happened to us in Iceland. Is we showed up with just question marks and then some recording equipment. and really there was no plan. There was no and we're going to shoot it this way. And for most of my life, that's what I show up with is a plan and expectations and requests and so Iceland was just how about we do none of that, and how about we just do whatever we want to do, and as long as we record it, we can do no harm. And like you said, we just sent you a hard drive. And do you remember how it even happened? Because you had made this video from Augusta that was kind of a hype reel of getting into the lottery to play. And then I don't know what we started messaging. We were doing Twitter messaging. I don't know why. I'm not on Twitter really.
Yeah. It was so the Augusta thing happened, and then there was a couple months where I don't think we talked, and I didn't hear from you for a while. And so I was all right, maybe it's we got to hang out for a little bit, and that was it. And then you called me, and you were we just got home from Iceland. I have a hard drive. Let me just give it to you. and just play around and go from there. And I remember the hard drive, you wrote on the drive the date in Sharpie on the actual drive, 7/18. It was this is serious. This isn't just some iPhone video. This is a properly stored catalog of media that we're gonna play around with. So that's what I remember.
On your end, you probably are I don't know what I'm gonna get. I don't know this person. Yeah. I don't know what I'm about to obtain. And yeah, that's right. We just came back from Iceland, and then we came back from Iceland, and basically, I think there was I had no expectations. I gave you this hard drive, I didn't know how many episodes it should be. I gave you zero direction,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know how long it took you to get the first episode back, but I remember for those listening, like there's a couple things that when I was a kid, I don't know if you relate, Thomas, or anything like that, but when I was a kid, my favorite thing in the world was ordering Legos, online, not online, but over the phone, I guess, or maybe I would mail in some money. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, totally.
And then the Legos would show up in the mail, and the mailman became a friend. I knew his nickname. My parents were like, "How do you know that's not his name? His name is this." And I was like, "No, Leroy's his name, not Roy. Everyone calls him Leroy." And they're like, "No one calls him Leroy." But I just loved when the Legos would arrive. And to me, that is that the closest thing in my life today to that is when I get an email from Thomas with a link in it. And this was up there, right? Because this was more of a collaboration than the Augusta video. I mean, I had seen what you had done, and Colt was on the team at that point, early days of working with Colt, and he loved vlogs. So that was his curiosity and experience there was very helpful. And David's intelligence as well, and Stuart's personality. So yeah, I mean, we basically gave you some work, and then the gift that you returned was like, I don't even know. Like and again, we had planned nothing. There was not like, oh, we're gonna start a YouTube channel in a month.
That's right. Yeah, it was. There weren't videos on the channel yet. When I was editing this, it was just a totally open opportunity to do whatever, and that's what I did. I approached it as having no like cookie cutter idea to it. The good thing about it is that it was a trip, and so it had a beginning and an end. And so I think that's when I realized that, like, with vlogs, if you choose like to put just one golf course in a vlog and break up a trip that way, that's kind of like the narrative, that was going to lead into Isle of Man and Scotland and all these other series, is that each episode is a course, and that's kind of like your anchor, and then everything else that happens around that is like the extra, fun and just whatever happens. So I remember like using the golf courses, and the trip was, so unplanned. You guys are driving down the road and everyone's like tired and like ready to go to bed, and someone sees a golf course out of the corner of the eye, and instantly it's like the energy is through the roof again. And so the trip had these like valleys and like, quiet moments and like exciting moments. So I think it works really well. And, just a 4 episode little piece that kind of tells, what you guys did and shows where you went.
Yeah. It definitely was unplanned. I think, I'm curious to know, like, you and I haven't really talked about this, but this was a project that was filmed more than 2 years ago, probably 27 months ago, something like that, and edited shortly after that. So, and we've made probably directly, you and I, 100 videos since then, at least. What have you seen? What have you observed since then in not in the outside world? There's a lot going on in 2020, especially, but in our world of creating, and then later I want to ask you what you've like learned to do, and then what you've learned to not do, like restraint and, I don't know what the other word is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think your style of storytelling has remained consistent. Just the way that you like approach a project, production, kind of planning and everything. I think that's really remained consistent. Kind of this like always flexible, always adapting, always changing. And then, when it's time to record, like whatever you record or whatever you shoot, that's usually the most like final, locked in part of the process. And I think that's great because you can't you can't plan what's going to happen before you go on a trip or whatever. You can't really anticipate things happening a certain way. And so I really like that that's been your style, the entire time that we've worked together. And so, but that being said, I think like kind of the care and the I don't know, just the personal touch that you've taken on projects has, as the YouTube channel has grown and as the brand has grown, I've seen that kind of just a want and a special care for what you do kind of increase. And making videos is making videos, but once you start to give these things out to the audience to see and to watch, it kind of becomes more important, and you see how much value people get from them. And so it's been neat to see kind of your the care and pride that you take in each project just continue to grow and continue to become more personal than just road trip vlog. Put the tripod on the ground and hit a golf shot. It's much more than that, I think, nowadays. With the recent stuff in the last year, maybe. But Iceland is cool because it's kind of like this. It's this time capsule, and when I watch it, I instantly am transported back to, editing the thing and putting it together, and kind of like, what kind of music was I into at the time, or what was I listening to, or like what were some of the just the memories of where I was editing the thing, even though what obviously wasn't on the trip. It kind of puts me back into that headspace of 2 years ago. And so that's cool to look back and have like a personal, I guess, reflective moment based off of someone else's trip, which is really weird and, kind of bizarre. But I think it's, I don't know, that's just been my experience with it.
It's nice to hear you say all that. Yeah,
What do you think when you watch it back? Do you like? I guess the time and the place. It's literally just a documentation of that time for you. So what does it make you think of?
For me, watching it back is probably very different, and it really depends on different from anyone else, and it really depends on where I'm at, in a sense. I think a lot of times I'll watch it back and just be like, oh, this is so cool. This is so great.
Yeah.
Like, how fun is this? Like, we basically have a professional video diary of our trip that's super exciting. But I think, like all things in life that are beautiful, as you've captured so well, Thomas, and the mixing of our ingredients, if you will, it's also sad, looking back on Iceland, it's hard for me to ignore that on some level, can't go back there.
Yeah.
Can't do that again. You can't. As a drug addict, I tried to. I tried to catch that feeling more than once, more than my fair share, if you will. You could have different experiences, but that's fine, and that will be fine. But that still means that experience is over. And there is there is some part of me that's recently started to wonder if and this is insane. It's not a sane thought, but do you know, like, do you have a favorite restaurant? What's your favorite restaurant, Thomas?
It would be Nozawa Bar, sushi spot.
Okay, so is there a part of you, and maybe not, that doesn't want to try everything on the menu?
A little bit.
Like, you want to save something? Some surprise.
Yeah. Well, I've only been once. I've only been once, so it's like I think only being there once has made it my favorite place because I'm not going there every week. It's not like a place I go to like, oh, it's my favorite restaurant, so let's just go. I think it's my favorite because I've had a great experience there with my dad, and it was like really memorable, and the food was delicious.
Right.
But I know what you mean about, you know, about it being a favorite. Uh, it's on the highlight reel.
Yeah, like, so like, well, with my life, if my life were the restaurant, it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to try everything yet. You know what I mean? Like people are like, have you ever jumped out of an airplane? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it again. You know what I mean? But now I kind of want to like, I want to fly a fighter jet. You know what I mean? Or like, I don't know, I want to go
Yeah.
drive on a closed circuit racetrack. Something, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. Right.
and I guess if you're going to do an Iceland metaphor, as you make your way into the midnight sun, whatever the crossing of days is, it's so blurry, you know, and the twilight of your life, whatever, not there, but obviously, it's just like, I don't know. Iceland has a part of that to me because it was so filled with intensity and excitement, and like I just don't have it in me anymore. Like I don't have that. I can't live like that anymore. I've stopped.
Yeah.
I now am very aware of like I need certain amount of sleep, and like it's just it's a different Eric. I've changed mostly personally.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever agree to do that again. Like if someone said, "Hey, do you want to do Iceland again?" I mean, I would probably say yeah immediately.
Right. Right. It wouldn't be. It would be coming from a different place of why you wanted to do it. And I think that's the neat thing about memories. And I can view them the same way. There's like a beautiful part, but there's also a sad part of like something that happened in the past and having this like strong, mental attachment to it and how it all happened and just the feeling of reminding yourself how you felt in that moment. It's powerful and it's kind of unlike any other feeling.
Yeah. One of the decisions you made early on with this Iceland blog series was to use Icelandic music, which really, it to me, it showed me if this were a resume, which it wasn't, but it showed me that two things, right? Like one of the most important things, in my opinion, for an editor is once you pass technical knowledge and things like that is music. I mean, the only difference between editing and like an edited video and a photo really is just that you took an extra photo or two and you added some music to it.
Yeah.
So it's obviously just visual and sound. So your understanding of music, you obviously make your own music. People may not know that you made a song that was in the Isle of Man series, The Final Moment, about golf, which that people love. But music being so important overall in the editing mind, you chose some music from Icelandic singers, and I mean it's just I think about that first song in the first episode a lot, and I'm just like, oh god, like it just makes me want to just like punch a hole through whatever is next to me, window, wall, tree, and you just you feel powerful. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
How much time goes into the selection of music, and it's I'm assuming it's one of these Ouija board experiences. There's no real pros and cons. You're just like got it or don't got it.
Yeah. The music, I always love to get music in as soon as possible because it kind of inspires and moves me to make a neat sequence or hang on a drone shot longer than I would have had I just been editing, without a track behind it. And so, but as far as like Icelandic music, when I heard that you wanted to send me this drive and this project, I was like, oh, I'm just going to load it up with like a bunch of stuff and like, like I'm a huge Sigur Rós fan, the Icelandic rock band, and they're probably one of like top 3, favorite artists of all time for me. And so I kind of wanted this like different, sound. And so I just got on SoundCloud and just started looking up like Icelandic singer-songwriters, Icelandic rappers, Icelandic just anything. And there wasn't a lot, but the stuff that I did find was each song was so different than the other. And there wasn't like Icelandic music, I don't think has like it might have a common thread, but the tracks that I found were so different than, the others. And they kind of just like found their own spot, I think, in the episodes. Yeah, I think it was fortunate that I found music early on because it kind of drove, all these beats in the episodes, and kind of was half the battle in, putting everything together. I made, I think like, I remember like a few months ago, like we were like, all right, Iceland vlogs are coming out, in a couple weeks. And so I put we should get it up on your SoundCloud, but I put all the songs together from the entire series in one like 50-minute mix that people can stream. So we should get that on the site, and we'll include like the artist breakdown so everyone can follow these artists and check out more of their music. It's there's some really neat sounds in there. And I know people love to, hear where the music came from and, have that as part of the experience as well. So we should get that up.
That's great. Let's, definitely. If you're listening to this, or you're watching this, go to randomgolfclub.com and check out the mix, which I can't wait to listen to now, and I'll hopefully put on some boxing gloves first.
Yeah.
The interesting thing, Thomas, is, again, this is early on. You cut 4 videos, or you cut 3, and then you had a 4th one to cut. Like, I think you cut it like a year or 2 later.
Yeah. So it was 3, and then you encouraged me, like, I think there's a 4th episode there, and the 4th episode is kind of like a just super, inward-facing, reflective moment of like 3 super short episodes, and it's kind of funny in a way because you guys did so much, but when you watch it back, it's like reflecting on 3 episodes. I think like the first time you watch episode 4, it might seem a little like confusing, like these guys just spent like 2 days in Iceland. What do they have to talk about or whatever? But I know you're there, a little longer, and so the fourth episode is just like a cool, just kind of like wrap up and some like behind the scenes of AIG when you guys were shooting on that mountain. That was cool. And just kind of the end of the trip, leaving.
I think it's interesting because you don't strike me, Thomas, as like an emotional guy. I don't know if anybody would say that. Maybe I don't know you well enough personally, but but I know you are, right? Aside from, our existence on a physical plane, but the edits that you've returned, I mean, in specific, Stuart and his dad go play golf at the old course and Deer Golf. Both of those videos, like, yes, I supplied you with material that was sufficient to make a souffle, but I mean, I could think of 99 editors who would basically turn that around and be like, it's not, you didn't do it right. I don't know what you did, but you didn't do it right. And I guess I want to talk about, like, it's not related to Iceland, but it's just interesting to me is how do you, where does that place come in? Where does that place in Thomas, that place where you can, Cameron Smith, pro golfer, watched the episode with Stuart and his dad playing the old course, and he texted me and said, I cried. You made a pro golfer cry watching a fucking vlog on YouTube about golf. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, I'm being facetious. Like, obviously it's not a vlog. Like, we have transcended the vlog. We are, that's why it's a film channel. And certainly we do lots of different types of things, but where is that? Where is that gear?
Yeah. So that gear is it's pretty deep within, and it's not deep within like I have to, go to a deep place to talk about it. It's deep within, like, I really protect that, I think, from a lot of people. And it's like, it's something I'm trying to work on to this day, is being more vulnerable and being more open to people, and being more, um, not being as closed in, and kind of not being as, reserved, and just trying to be my true self, the same person that I am to my wife and parents as I am to, someone I might meet for the first time, like on the golf course, or, wherever. So that gear is important. And I think, for a lot of my life, I didn't really place the importance of that, till more recently. So I think it's easy to find, in the projects that we've worked on together, Scotland, Deer Golf, it's easy to see that gear, in the creative work. But for me, it's like, I want that gear to be revealed, like just talking to someone, and, not have to connect with someone emotionally through an edit, but which is great, but, to be able to connect to someone emotionally through just a conversation. And so I hope that paints a picture of, like, kind of the current state of the of the creative within, because doing the editing, like that part of, of who I really am, comes easier than just kind of talking freely about it. And so it's great, and I'm glad that, like, through you, I've been given the opportunity to express myself emotionally, creatively in those projects. But it's important to be a well-rounded person, and to always be yourself no matter what. So it's the constant project, and the constant kind of goal within is to continue to develop and grow, as a person. And so being able to do that through editing is, like, just the best, because it facilitates a lot of these, like, conversations and topics.
Yeah, it's almost like the true creators aren't creating because they're bored, or because they're good at it, or because they're interested in it. They're doing it because they need to. It's like a flush for the soul. Like, it's like, I must create, because this is how I connect. This is how I communicate. This is how I am. This is how I be. And as a photographer, for me, that was it was like, photography became my, like, it became my compass, and, like, I would just basically go to wherever the photo was, and that wrote my life in turn. And this has done the same thing for me, in terms of meeting you, meeting whoever, right? Meeting Colt, meeting Evan, meeting Stuart, is like, my life has just really been a sort of a bus trip, where we've just sort of said, I'm kind of going in the same direction. And then, you're still going with this way. We all are.
Yeah.
I think probably one of the coolest moments since we've worked together is when I showed my friend Tudor the Old Course episode, who is the main singer in Neon West. And so when he saw his song in the episode for the first time, I invited him over. I was like, I got to show you the cut. Let me know if you approve. And sat him down, watched it on my laptop, and he just started bawling. He was like, I've never seen, my work, like, married with something as emotional, before. And I think that was the perfect kind of, like, the same way, that everyone reacted to that episode, and, the trip, and the atmosphere that you put together, coupled with the song and the edit and the visual, and just the storyline of father and son. I think that is, that's why we do it. That's why we, want to tell these stories, and continue to pursue just that kind of energy.
Yeah, and in a sense, there's the reality as well, where these films are, Michael Moore, famed documentarian, says there's no such thing as a documentary. Everyone has a voice, everyone has an agenda, and they're going to make a decision either by including, not including, or however you want to do it. They are authoring the story. And I think about that a lot. And, that's happened, right? That happened everywhere we went. And didn't actually happen that way. Not to the point that I'm saying it's not like we fabricated a story. Yeah. But that music wasn't playing when we were on 18. I didn't swing in slow motion on 18. Like I think that's, for me, the thing that I've learned the most, actually, above all else, is, but with the experience of making these vlogs, whether it's Iceland in the beginning, or Scotland, or New Zealand, Japan, it's almost like realizing that you're living in the vlog has really, I think, given me a chance to say, like, it's not like imagine how beautiful this is going to be in the sense that it's like an object, or it's like my job, or like, oh, we're doing a good job, but it's more like I am going to look back on this, whether it's a memory, or whether it's a YouTube video, or whether it's an Instagram post or caption, or whether it's a story that I'm telling someone in a decade about, and then they said, no, we have 2 choppers. That's not the problem. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, whether it's a joke or whatever it is, it's like being here now, being wherever I am in that moment is probably the most important part of all of it. Because if you're not there, it's impossible to really connect and have fun. And that's something that I've seen almost become more important the more we do these things. Right? In the beginning, it was a little bit easier because it was, and I've talked about this on the podcast, is in the beginning, it was a little easier because I had no big plan, right? It was just, Iceland, wow, some videos. That's crazy. Should we start a YouTube channel? Sure, fuck it. Let's try it. You know what? And on the YouTube channel, I shot and edited the first one, and you helped me with the intro package. But I couldn't pay you to do any editing, so I just did it. And then some time went by, and what was the next? Oh, you edited. So then we came back from Scotland, and we had a mega drive from Scotland that you edited. Honestly, we can't talk about that.
Yeah. No, but there were the smaller ones, like with Craig or Michelle. They were like the small, like Beth Page, and it was still like very much like factory. Like, what is this? What are we doing? Like, let's just keep editing projects and find out. I think is kind of how it went down.
Yeah, that's right. So we had a bunch of videos ready for the channel before we even did it.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what we were doing. We were like preparing bullets to just unleash on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. And then you guys went to Scotland, and it was like, I mean, videos were coming out like once every 2 weeks. It wasn't a weekly thing. It was like, a couple times a month. Just because there wasn't anything in the can that could like sustain a bi-weekly or twice a week type upload. So it was like the runway, before the big takeoff, and then Scotland comes out, and then it's like 16 weeks of like mega. But it's cool. It's fun. It's like I love looking back, on the whole experience and the whole working relationship that we have, and seeing like where it's come from. And that's, it's funny at times. It's like, wow, it's funny to look back at and just kind of, laugh at the process, and find joy in how it all started.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. There's no rhyme or reason to it all, but
nah, there doesn't have to be. It's like, what's the right way to launch a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Just let it ride.
I guess you just have to go into the settings and hit create.
Exactly. Totally.
Do you have any things or you want to add or thoughts or ideas?
No, I loved this conversation. I think if someone just discovered you, I hope they don't listen to this episode first because it's a lot of it's a lot of inside baseball. But you know, if you just discovered Erik, go to his channel, and hit the little tab that says organize videos chronologically, and then just start from like in the kitchen making the cookies. And then
episode 1.
Yeah, yeah. But I know that there are people that love, kind of the details, the smaller details of what you do and of what we do together, and the whole company as a team. So I hope there was, just a little insight, whatever that may be. And I think that's what's cool about this RGC community is you have, from the top down, you have people that pop in every now and then. Then you have people that have like been following you for years, and so it's important to provide a little value, where you can, and just talk about the things that aren't too mainstream.
Yeah, that's definitely been the priority for me has been to like focus on what's actually inspiring, right? Rather than there's a lot of things to focus on. There's a lot of other things that one could focus on. And so we've started to turn jobs down, which is fun.
How fun.
It's a crazy feeling. But you're just like, you know what? It's not the right fit. We're actually focused mostly on not shoving shit down our community's throats, right? We're focused on telling stories that are meaningful, inspiring, hilarious, real.
Right. Yeah.
And that's funny that you have to go all the way around the block to learn that, because that's where we started.
Right. Yeah, so true. So true.
But it's really important, and that's one of the things we're committed to continuing to do. So,
well said.
I'm grateful that you're on the team, man. I'm grateful.
Hey, me too, man. Me too. It's been a blast, and looking forward to continuing down the path and see where this whole thing goes.
Yeah, I'll say probably those of you listening, if you're wondering, it's probably funny because this might be in some ways, Thomas, like even though it would be very easy for a person, and we talked about this recently, just offline, Thomas, it would be very easy to get tired of this work and get bored of it and have it become like repetitive. And but I would imagine, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm putting you on the spot, obviously, but you're probably in a great place right now, because I know that like for me now, it's like I feel a lot less stressed about the small things. And I hope that that's rubbing off onto you, and you kind of feel a little bit more free to just, have a little bit more lead time on the projects that we're doing, and it's like, oh, like maybe now it feels more like a normal job that you enjoy, rather than like there were times where I know it was like, you're like, I can't do what you're asking me to do. There's not enough. I don't know if you checked, but this calendar only has 7 days in it, guy.
Yeah. I think it's all perspective. I mean, when you're working, when you're in the workforce and you're doing, whatever your vocation is, you're doing it repeatedly. To a person that has a very like shallow, like narrow kind of field of view, it would get old and it would get boring. And so I choose to have the perspective that yes, video editing, I'm making the same motions with my hand on the mouse and the keyboard and the screen, and like it's all the exact same every day. But if you look at it from the point of whatever I'm going to be editing that day is going to be brand new and something I've never cut before, then that's where that's where I kind of find value in the process, and so it doesn't become old and it doesn't become kind of mundane. So that's kind of where I choose to view the whole thing, or how to view the whole thing.
I feel like we could all learn a lesson there. I've had to basically divorce myself from the results and focus only on the process.
Yeah. I can relate. Yeah. Because if you get too attached, it's like you have all your eggs in this results basket, and when a video flops that you love and that you put time into, it's like a gut punch, man. It sucks.
I need to delete YouTube analytics. I need to delete the Instagram analytics functions. No, because I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't start doing it for that. If I did, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't. People would be like, oh, "This guy's fuck. What the fuck is this? Like, tag a buddy, tag a buddy. Subscribe. Don't tell me to subscribe." You know what I mean? Like,
I'm glad you didn't turn into. I'm glad you're not one of those guys.
Staying true to that, you know, and it's like golf though too. Like you can't really perform at golf if you're like thinking about I have to result. I have to have a result that satisfies me.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
All right, Thomas. Well, thank you for talking to me and having everyone else
Great. Thank you, man.
in the world listen to your creative pathway. And well, I wonder what's gonna. I mean, we do have some new videos coming out that we've never tried before. Road trip in the American West.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Let's get on the call later today or this week at least about what we can shoot there.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
So Reiten, you too. Thank you.